bounce to whatever somewhere else, Stinky.
Hello everybody and welcome to Smash Hand. I'll be your host today, Big Beard Tony. We will be chronicling my adventures in the Blood Bowl universe, and we'll be starting with my first foray into an online league. I've previously only done the Cabal Vision League and have been desperately looking for an organised league to play in. I found one in Mead Mayhem. You should look them up online for the PlayStation 4. I don't know the league very well. I've only just joined, so I'll only be covering one section of the league, the one that I'll be playing in, that I've had any time to look at. I'll be playing Norse, team name Rock the Casbox. Let's have a quick look at them. Tum to tum, loading, technical issues. Okie dokie. Now, before I go into the team, from what I understand,
Did you know the Spike Magazine
Bob.
trophy was forged in hellfire?
Bob,
Deep beneath the blighted cigarette,
this isn't the
Tsar
time,
got
buddy.
ruined. Many slaves died to create it.
Yeah.
It was the lowest bid.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the way that Mead Mayhem League works is they have 3 tiers of play. The first is the farm. The farm is where new teams are developed, built up to, in their first season, or rather in their first competitive season, up to a cap of 1400 team value. I've come in at 1310. That was kind of because I was in a rush. I would have built the team up a little bit better to have a slightly more balanced structure, and you'll see why when you get a look at the other teams that I'm playing with. So to start with,
Best way to impress your shareholders,
we've played 6 games.
large and full
We've won 3,
stadium.
drawn 1, lost 2.
The stadium is like a second home for a team.
Shut up, Bob. I'm going to have to work out how to turn this guy's voice off. So I can't remember how many players we started with. I think it was 12. But we've got the Yeti. Started with him. Started with 2 Berserkers. And bought in the puppies as we went along. We've got a very deep bench in our linos. A couple of whom are injured. That's going to be a bit of an issue for me. And our only leveled up one is Dirty Player, so fouling will be a key part of the game. The best player we have is Jarl Ringo. He's our runner with sure hands, dodge and tackle. While he is a good player, one player can't carry a team alone, but no doubt he'll be of some utility. The dogs are unleveled as of yet. I think only one of them's played a game or 2. But we've got 1 Mighty Blow Berserker, and he'll be a key player. He has to survive if we are to do even remotely well in the league. The other one's not far off leveling, so 1 more casualty or a touchdown and he'll be good to go. The Yeti has managed to get Mighty Blow, and again is not far off leveling. He's a touchdown away, but that's never going to happen. Okay, let's have a little look at the history, just so you know what kind of caliber we're talking about here. The first game we played in the farm was against Halflings, and it was a 2-0 win. I think that was against Big Badger, who we will be playing in the league at some point. First game, actually. Then it was a 1-0 loss to Pro Elves, I think. Pro Elves. A 2-1 victory over some more Pro Elves. Uh, 3-1 victory over the Staved Finger, an Orc team. Then a draw to the Red Shirts. These are a human team coached by... I can't remember. Can't remember anyone's names yet. Not that good, sorry. And then an absolute thrashing to some Wood Elves, which was fun. So we're now ready for the league. Let's have a look at that. Here we go. Now we've got Necromantic, Dwarf, Lizardmen, Kislev, Chaos, Kislev, and Lizardmen, as well as the Norse. Now, as I said, new teams come in at a cap of 1400, so my assumption at this stage is that only the Necromantic team and this Lizardman team down here are starting teams. The rest of them will have been in for at least a season, perhaps longer in the case of the UFOs, maybe even Dio's midgets, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask these guys. Anyway, my predictions, I wrote them down earlier and did them quite fluffy. Let's have a look at my tip for first. Drag go, I think. Details. To the roster. Right. Now I back the Lizards for days. The inclusion of the Red Dragon as the big guy in this lineup is a basic must. But it seems like they have two of them. No, that's Komodo Dragon. A big Saurus with a remit to hit. With Bearded and Puff alongside him, I don't see many teams getting one over an obstacle of this scale. With the focus on the Saurus, I don't see the Skinks being there to do much other than what they're told to do. Go here, mark that, score the odd touchdown. Kermit is currently their best performing stunty, but don't expect that to last. These little guys look pretty replaceable to me. Despite that, the coach clearly understands his budget. That line of Lizards is near impenetrable. I certainly wouldn't like to try it. The Skinks might well live. These guys will probably finish first. Next, a very scary team.
With a range of new features. Please see your instruction guide for further details.
Necromantic, Claw and Score. These are my tip for second. A healthy looking team with a few stars. The steroid enhanced Richard Cranium will be hard to put down for all but the most able and gnarly of tacklers. He has an iron grip on the ball that will make it near impossible for all but the most nimble and experienced ball hawks to ply it from his grasp. This Ghoul can and will win games on his own. The pair of blitzers are the Claw to this team's name. With a healthy diet and glossy coat, Micah Fenrir and Kantar Grugtail will show their loyalty to their coach with every mighty blow they inflict on their targets. Is your dog as fit as a butcher dog? My tip to finish second. Who have we got next? Now, I think I got these guys the wrong way around. Maybe not. No, I think I fixed it. One of my predictions is wrong, or rather wrong, according to the way that I worked it out. Anyway, these are the UFOs, a Slan team. Some may say this team is due some new blood. From the looks of things, they're pretty bashed up. I'm not one of these pundits. They're experienced acrobats and tougher than they look. All over you like a rash, and plenty of experience on the field. That said, I doubt John Carter will make it through to the rest of the season. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is busted.
Never went onto the field.
Where is he? Where's the other guy? There he is. This is ogre sizes. Yuri Gagarin is an immense asset to this team. From his starting position as line fodder, he has quickly grown to become perhaps the most useful utility player within the team. While he lacks speed, he is nimble and cunning. He can be trusted to stalk cages and wait for an opportunity to dive in at the first sign of a loose ball, then be out before anyone else realises the ball has left the scramble. Next, I want to look at Charles Lindbergh. He looks like the team's go-to carrier. Time will tell if his lack of pace will catch up with him this season. Being wiry and tough only gets you so far. These guys are my tip to finish third. Then we've got the Lustria Carpenters. Now, they're quite tough. Any lizard team can give you a headache if the Skinks remember to pick up the ball as they run past it. These guys look a little bit capable, but still no AG plus. Don Joseph and Don Victor will be the mobile component of the Saurus line of defence. Break tackle dodge here, very scary. and Don Victor with the tackle. Probably be staying free and looking for the blitz. In attack, they'll be a threat to anyone who underestimates their combined threat. And Johnson and Williams here have been made to look like a bit of a disposable resource to the team. I wonder how they've been induced to play as footstalls to trip over.
Did you know you have a fan club?
But there we go, we've got Smith as well. Keep an eye on him. Every Lizard team throws up these speed freaks eventually. This one is reliably rapid and surprisingly tough. Not even in his prime yet. If he stays unhit, he's a star. So these guys are my tip to finish 4th. 5th we have, maybe this is the one that I got wrong. Oh no, UFO, my tip to finish 5th. Then Dio's Midgets. No, that's where I've got it wrong. Okay, the Slanseers are next. The Slanseers. The Seers. A league with 2 Kislev in. That's going to be interesting. Okay. An interesting team. They have strength and depth. They're a very fighty looking frog Slan Kislev team. A little way off being an abundant threat. They'll still be hard to beat and awkward to handle. Lots of strength, bit of mighty blow, tackle, block, wrestle, and I think that is diving tackle, right? That's got to be diving tackle. Players to look at. I mean, there's a couple here that interest me. I wouldn't mind coaching this team. Genuine Slan is a threat to any aspiring ball carrier. His focus on his footwork means he'll be getting into most cages, but experienced ball handlers might well be able to shrug off his intentions. He doesn't have tackle yet, which is a bit of a problem, but he does have strip ball. The Overseer is one that I expect to perform very well for this team. He's hard to hit and getting better every day. Another star in the making. He's catcher with a plus strength and block, so he's my money would say that Josiah Frost is very proud of this guy and he's looking forward to cultivating him into something very usable. Next we have Dio's Midgets. Waiting. Dwarfs. It's a pretty good dwarf team. Kruid has ditched some armour and lightened the load. He's the fastest dwarf I've ever seen and used to be spry as an elf. But age and injury seems to have caught up with him in that regard. But his experience can still tell on the pitch when it matters, I've no doubt. Fend will be quite useful. Dodge is good. Brian may always be one step behind him, ready to snaffle up anything dropped by his ageing partner. And good luck trying to hit Brian. He's a big lad with a solid grasp. The one to watch on this team for me will be Runar Kulgur Troll. Speedy as your average dwarven runner. Runar is the midget's biggest defensive threat. Once he gets you, he'll keep getting, and there's a good chance he'll put you down or off the pitch. These are my tip for 6th. This is an interesting one. Chaos.
I'm looking forward to these next few matches, Bob.
Right. No rerolls. A terrifying team who live dangerously. The coach seems content to let his players do the talking. He runs this team by cutting back on non-playing staff, opting to let his brutal team systematically bust over opposing lines in a frenzy of violence. How very chaos. Belmoth Crush Spider. Where is he? There. Shaboom. Will lead the line, tearing his enemies into shreds as he bellows his 3 fellow warriors to match his passion for the kill and Blood Bowl. Slash Fagors and Fish Mulgore have the skills. Where are we? Here. And here. These guys. And mutations to play ball for this team. Fast, strong, and equally brutal in their ways. Both of these players will be handy to have around. These are my tip for 7th. And finally, with my first season in the MML, my tip to finish last, rock the Casbox. They're a disgrace to the sport. One good player and a bunch of no-hopers. Jarl Ringo would be a prospect in any other Norse team, but here he looks like the obvious target. Their only experienced lino, back from a lifetime ban for persistent fouling, Wolf, is excited to be playing again after his coach drowned him and had an apothecary bring him back from the dead. Sneaky. Lucky not to need a necromancer. The emphasis on fouling is clear. This bunch should be run out of the league before they ruin its reputation. And so they should. Well, I'm looking forward to this. That was my pre-prepared nonsense. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. A couple other thoughts as I just look through.
Spontaneous endorsement.
You might wonder why I tipped the brand new Lizardmen team to finish top. Well, Skinks, you only need them to do one job, and they're pretty good at it out of the box. I think that their lack of development won't hold them back. The Saurus have done a pretty good job of leveling, and they're looking really hard, really hard to me. This team is, if it weren't for its thin roster, I would be saying that I wouldn't know what to do about it. The lack of guard is an issue, but a couple of mighty blows and just, you know, smashing block right across the board with a strength 5 Saurus, they're going to be difficult to deal with. I think this looks like an experienced coach to me, but yeah, slightly thin roster, but you can see why. That Croxagore is going to be key. That Komodo Dragon guy is going to be key, and these two are just going to be decimating the line at the same time. Komodo Dragon's keeping people down. Tentacle and guard making these guys strength 6 and 5. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's going to be a hard time for anyone coming up against these guys. So that's why I've tipped them for the first. Why did I tip me last? Well, I don't know any of the coaches. I'm not very good with the meta of the league at the moment, and well, essentially, I didn't spread my skills out very well when I was building the team, thinking that I was going to come into a league of absolutely fresh guys. But that said, I will get inducements. I've got inducements over the Chaos in my opening match against the Destroyers, who don't have a reroll to their team, and that's an interesting one. I can't quite fathom why that was done, and I've developed a little bit of a game plan, but again, another thin roster. My game plan should be pretty easy to work out, to be fair. I don't have that many skills on the ground. I'll have to hit hard. I'll have to put these guys out faster than they put me out, which would be pretty tough. And hope that after the first drive, if I haven't been able to get the ball off them, or haven't been able to get a numbers advantage and press up the pitch, that
Got any advice for the budding
that I'll have thinned them out enough so that my bench comes into play.
Some of these cameras work.
But that said, even with the rerolls, I'm slightly worried. I'm worried about the claw and the mighty blow on my more expensive positionals. It's a decent enough spread of block to be able to keep me at bay, and the stat ups are something to worry about. Also, Hail Mary on the Beastman here. There's an interesting one. I guess that's a defensive skill. A kind of desperation, get shot of it if necessary. Either that, or there's a very interesting game plan coming up involving him. I'll think about that a little bit and see what happens. Overall, I would tip myself for this match, but I think, as other people have pointed out, these guys could remove me as quickly as I can remove them. So we'll see. They can't afford a foul. I will probably have a wizard, if not an extra reroll, and a babe, maybe even a couple of babes. The key to me winning this match, if at all possible, is having a deeper roster. So that's that.
Don't forget, Coach. You need
I would
to
go into the
maintain
other
your home
matchups,
stadium.
but well, there's not really. I think I've covered the teams as well as I should. Now I did tip the UFOs over the Slan Seers, but it looks like the Seers have already won their match. But I'm still looking at Drag Go to finish over Lustria Carpenters and Claw and Score to beat Dio's Midgets. The speed of Claw and Score on the Wolves and their strength 4 ball carrier make them really difficult to deal with, as well as their standard zombies and flesh golems. They're just tough to outnumber at the end of the day, and that is the focus of a dwarf team. Well, those are my thoughts overall for the league. Other than the Chaos team, I'm gonna struggle with most of the other teams, largely because of the rerolls. But we'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and wish me luck for the league. Good luck to all my opponents. It's going to be fun no matter what happens, and I'm going to do my very best to grind you all into the dirt and finish at the very top. But it's not looking like a firm bet, is it?